I wanted to know when you said before about consumer spending being the backbone of the economy, is that a good thing? What
Uh,
about trade? What about manufacturing? Those type of things, as opposed to consumer spending.
yeah, that's a great question, Chris. It is not. It is not a good thing in the sense that I wish that so consumer spending is 71% of our economy. It would be wonderful if it were 50% of our economy and the other 50% was exports and, some trade kinds of issues. And it wasn't all some industrial kinds of things, and it wasn't all consumer spending. I mean, the ideal situation is that we would have a balanced economy. But the fact of the matter is we don't. We have a consumer economy. Now, the upside to a consumer-driven economy is it forces certain things in the economy, or it should force certain things. In fact, it hasn't, but force certain fiscal policy coming out of Washington that ought to be different than just printing money. Japan, a great example of that. Japan is the master of printing money. Their money printing far exceeds ours. They have about 200% debt to their GDP. But for them, it's a good thing because they're the opposite of our economy. The vast majority of their economy is based on exports. So when they trash their currency by printing more money, it actually helps them. But there's a report out just this morning that Japan is suffering because nobody's gotten pay raises for so long that there's no consumer spending. So they're suffering from kind of the same issue, no consumer spending, but their economy continues to plug along in this stagnation that it's been in for 15 years. And unfortunately, we here in America look at that saying, well, if they do it, we can do it. The difference is their printing money actually helps their economy, not weakens it. Ours weakens it. So yes, the ideal situation that we would turn that around. But in fact, we have seen our trade deficits getting larger instead of smaller. We had a run there early last year, about this time last year, we had a run where we saw the deficit starting to get in line a little bit, that our exports were picking up. Now, I suspect we're going to see our exports picking up again just as a result of the fact that if we continue to produce as much gasoline and we continue to export that gasoline, I talked about this yesterday, then I think we're going to start seeing that pick up a little bit. So, as a result of through some industrial kinds of things. So to answer your questions, is it a good thing? No. It is what we have, though. And I believe it is going to take us years of good, solid fiscal policy coming out of Washington and some changes in the corporate structures and incentivizing for us to begin to start creating that balance. It's going to take some time to get there. But in order for us to get there, we're going to need some leadership. And frankly, it's not there yet. I can't say I'm jumping up and down over any of the candidates that I've seen either as far as leadership from an economic standpoint. So we're going to have to watch that closely. But you make a good point. It isn't necessarily an ideal situation, that is for sure. I certainly wish it weren't that wasn't the case. We'd probably be better off.